Hello, everybody. It's just. This is gonna be more of a rant, and I'll be subjecting you all through this because friends suffer together. So, as you all know, I am not good at landscapes, and I keep doing it anyway. And I'm quite good at everything else, just not landscapes. And I have been meaning to make more concept art of the environment the Rat Scouts live in. But I just can't get it to look like how I want it. And I want it to look painterly like everything else that I do. But I can make characters look painterly. I can make objects look painterly, plants, creatures, like you name it. But just not environments. Environments and architecture, those two things, you know. But I keep thinking to myself, like, why is it so hard just to get better? Like, why is it so hard? I have improved on other art things the more time I put into it. Like, if I just keep doing it, I'll improve. But I've maybe improved only about 5% in years when it comes to landscapes. And that's just sad. And I've even thought about asking other people for advice, asking online. I've thought about asking on Reddit. The one true source of info, you know, Reddit. And I've even thought about asking you here on YouTube if you knew a way to get good fast. But alas, all isn't completely lost because I have this curse, which is also a blessing. So the story goes, I have never been teachable when it comes to art. When it came to art, I've never went to art school, any art school ever. And in elementary school, and junior and senior high, I never listened to what the teachers said, only in art class. Somehow, I don't know why. Like when they taught me things like, this is how you crosshatch with ink, and this is how you shade with a pencil, I just kept thinking like, why? Why would I do it your way? My results look better than yours, obviously, and you're drawing in front of me on my sketch of like a piece of paper, and mine looks better than yours. And I've been doing it since I was in elementary school. I think it was just hugely due to how the teachers, they never showed me any of their art. So I never listened to anything they had to say. Like I learned how to shade from a classmate I sat next to. And she was a real guru when it came to art. Like I could never comprehend how somebody my age could just be so good. And I listened to her. I listened to her because I saw her sketchbook once. And I came up to her and asked how she did this and that. And I listened, and she just told me about how she did it, and I kind of just never forgot. Like, I didn't know her for that long, and I didn't quite understand the amount of things I could have asked her. I just asked her like about 2-3 things, because I couldn't comprehend all the art things I could have asked her. You know, like I only asked her for a little bit of info, but whenever she told me how she did it, I just never forgot, because I really looked up to her. And so it dumbfounded me when teachers just taught me how to do things like crosshatch or shade with a pencil properly in like 8th grade. It just seemed like ancient knowledge to me by then, you know, because I learned in like 7th grade. It's like a year too late. And I don't even remember art class back in elementary school. Like even though there definitely was an art class. Because I remember always being in the library because teachers just made me keep going there just to draw a bunch of stuff for some competition, and I think I even won one. Like, I know it because there's a trophy, but I couldn't bring it home. Like, if you're Indonesian, you would probably know this. If you ever were a school kid and you won some sort of contest and you got a trophy, they'll show it to you. You get to hold it once, and that's about it. They'll keep it for the rest of the school's lifetime. Just decorate it somewhere inside of a glass cabinet like, they'll put it somewhere obvious, like everybody can see, but you'll never be able to bring it home. And I never remembered how I got there, you know, to the library. Everything was just a blur. Like, I know the teachers of course, it was because the teachers kept telling me to go there, but I never remembered anything else. Like, it was just a blur. Like, all of a sudden I was in the library drawing, and the next moment I'm outside playing football after school was over. Like, everything else was just a big chunk of amnesia for me. Everything besides the art part. You know, like, I remember everything art related, but everything else that happened outside of that, I don't remember happening. And I never said anything, like even though I didn't quite want to listen to any of the advice the teachers gave me, I just kept drawing, especially through high school. I really only listened to advice when it came from people I really looked up to. And I definitely didn't do what the teachers kept telling me to do. Like somehow I find myself still sailing through art class. Like looking back at it now, it really just seemed like I had a skull made of titanium because I just never listened. And nothing art related from external sources ever like came through to me, like from teachers. Like if I were to return back to being a kid, I don't even think I'll be able to consciously listen to my art advice from teachers. Again, like if I tried again, like for a second time, like some weird art alien will just take over me when it was time to do anything art related, and I've been shoved in the back, like that one scene in the movie Get Out where the main protagonist is just like sinking deeper and deeper, and he's just seeing his life happen through like a little screen, like he has no control like whatsoever. And I also think how it's just crazy how I managed to get good grades in art class. Like, wow, you really cannot fail at art at all. Yeah, like I didn't do anything they wanted to tell, like they kept telling me to do, but I somehow got like high scores. Like it was 100 out of 100 most of the time. Like in Indonesia, we don't grade with letters like from F all the way to A like you do in America. We use numbers. It's actually from 0 to 100 or from 1 to 10, depending on your school. So like just back to my curse being a blessing, I just kept thinking back to, do I ask for advice? And you know what? I'm not going to ask for advice because this is the blessing. It's the blessing of how I just cannot bring myself to choose asking strangers for advice when I can just learn it by myself. Because when I started facing problems with drawing this idea to make a new environmental concept for my Rat Scouts like 6 days ago, in the moment I planned to ask people online for tips, complete strangers, I just kept drawing through it. Like for every waking moment I've thought about asking people for advice, I was still drawing. So throughout thinking about asking for advice, I must have failed like 5 more times just trying to get this to succeed. And the thought of just asking people for advice just somehow quickly disappeared yet again. And this always happens to me like 3 times a month, but it always ends up with me not actually asking anybody, and instead I just keep drawing. And I've only ever learned externally by asking people who I legit think is worth looking up to because I've seen their art. And I read books because I think they're worth reading. Like, of course, I don't learn everything all by myself, like out of nowhere. I read too. And how do I know a book is worth reading? Because the cover looks cool. So if the cover looks cool, especially if it's an art book, you can obviously judge the inside of the book from the cover alone. So I'm glad all my life I've never actually asked complete strangers online for art advice. Instead, I just keep drawing. And this must have been like the 8th attempt for me, like at me drawing this environmental concept. Like the 8th time probably. Like I'm ready to show this to you now because this is the final one that actually did work out. And I did choose this pencil brush to sketch it with, and I colored it with a watercolor brush. And I've done lots of things this way before. It's never failed me. So I think I'll just keep drawing like this if I don't know how else to improve. Because, I mean, as far as you're concerned, I bet if you just know what it is you're looking at, it should be good art. Am I right? Like, if I'm always displeased, like, by my inability to keep up with my ever-increasing standards, because that doesn't mean all the art stuff I know how to do now isn't good art. Like, they're still good art. Like, they're great. Like, I want to respect them that way. But I guess when I'm like this, it's just very important to feel humble and grateful how I at least know how, like, to dumb down my technique. Even for me, just to not fail at drawing something like landscapes, like not fail at all. I mean, there are probably a lot of people out there who are just starting out and they don't know what to do, and they're probably super stressed out about it because they haven't learned much about art. So I'm glad it's not me, like, so a little bit of the Rat Scouts environment, by the way. I've been ranting about this for far too long. So the rat scouts, they live in bush trees and in the swampy foresty area. As you can see, the ground here, the ground is wet and damp, and there are big patches of forests everywhere, with a seemingly endless stretch of forest up north. In these woods, this is where the cackle face lives. I've drawn this before in the previous video, and also where the gasping ape wanders about. And let me tell you, the rat scouts are not afraid. They don't fight them because they know how to get around having to never fight them. They know how to get around without ever having to fight them. So they just know how to take care of themselves in these woods, and they go home safely every time. And I've added some labels too. So hopefully you can feel immersed, because now you've heard me explain it, and you've also seen how it looks. A little spoiler, by the way, this area is called Northern Glaive. Okay, Northern Glaive, as you can see, because that's gonna be the name of the continent the rat scouts will be living in. It's on a continent called Glaive. I haven't told you the name of the world yet. I have the name of the planet. I have the name of the world. I'll tell you about it very soon. And please subscribe, guys. Hit that like button. Say hi in the comments below, and just... I'm just glad I got through the struggle of finishing this environment piece, so I can just go ahead and struggle some more on a brand new painting. Bye bye, guys. I'll see you in the next one.